Hi guys, I'm Jamie Leigh and this is 5 Things Friday. I am a mixed media artist and I am sharing with you some video things on 5 Things Friday that I hope will help you either in your creativity or your life. And today's 5 Things Friday is 5 things that I wish I could tell myself 10 years ago. 10 years ago I was the mom of a 2.5-year-old. We had just moved into this house. I was married at the time. We are since divorced, so a lot of things in my life were different then. And I have come a long way. I was always a creative person, and my 5 things that I would tell myself have to do with creativity, but also with life, in the sense that when you're in a place in your life where either you don't feel safe, or you don't feel appreciated, or like you have a voice, creativity is possibly the last thing on your mind, or you're creative but you can't do anything with it because you're just trying to make it through the day. And so the very first thing for anyone in that situation where you just feel like your life is kind of out of control, you're just trying to make it, stuff is happening, it's stressful, you're working, you're taking care of a family, you're taking care of yourself, or you're trying to. If you want to get to a place in your life where you can be creative, where you can have time, where you can feel less stress, where you can be who you are, you've got to take the steps first to get from that point to out of that point, which I know for me felt impossible. And it's not. I can promise you that. So the first thing I would give as a tip for myself 10 years ago is you have permission to be who you are, to say what you want to say, and to do the things that you want to do. Because I didn't feel like I had permission to move on from where I was at. And so the first thing I would do is I would give myself permission and say, hey, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, you have permission to do it. You can give your own self permission. And whatever it is that you need to do to move from where you're at to where you want to be, take that first step. Baby steps, it could feel like the simplest thing in the world, but if it gets you one step closer to where you wish you were, take that step. You have total permission, and you don't have to ask for permission from anybody else but yourself. Number 2, I would love to have told myself, probably maybe even when I was a kid, but even 10 years ago, that negative voice that you hear in your head, it sounds like you, it says things that you're used to, it kind of runs the show sometimes. I wish I could tell myself that negative voice, that is not you. That is the voice that you've developed over a number of years to cope, to function, to deal with life. And in some situations, that voice could even belong to another person that you're so used to hearing that it kind of adapts itself to sound like you. And what I wish I could tell myself and other people who were struggling like I was is that voice that is in your head that tells you you're worthless, you're stupid, you have bad ideas, you're never going to get anywhere, you're stuck, you're not good enough. That was my big one, you're not good enough. I wish I could tell that me back then to understand that that voice that's talking may sound like you, but it isn't you. Take that voice and put it outside yourself for a few moments. Pretend it's another person that is talking to you, like a friend or a family member, and just listen to what that voice says. And if you were to take that voice and put it outside of yourself in the form of another person and had it talk to you, is that a person you'd even want to associate with? Would you tell them, why are you being so mean to me? Why are you saying these things, these awful things that aren't helpful at all? If your voice sounds like that, then that is something that before you can do anything else at all, you need to figure out how to get that voice to turn from negative to positive. And that's something I'm working on right now, and let me tell you, if you've been listening to that voice for years and years and years and years, it is very hard to get rid of it. But do that first little exercise. Take the voice in your head, put it outside of yourself, and pretend that it's a person talking to you. And if that's a person that you wouldn't want to be friends with, then why are you letting it run your life? That's what I wish I would have said to me. Number 3, if it doesn't work, don't do it. Now, I'm not saying if you try something and you fail to give up. That's totally different. This means if you're doing something and it's not working for you because it doesn't feel right, it's not making you happy, it's not helping you in any way creatively or otherwise, stop. Don't do it anymore. Give up on it, walk away from it, quit doing it, whatever it is that makes you feel like, ugh, yuck, or I don't know why I'm doing this, I hate it, I said I would, and that's the only reason. Somebody else is making me do it or telling me to do it and I don't want to. Anything like that, don't do it. Number 4, if you don't know how to do something to get you from here to there, here being where you're at right now and there being where you want to be, learn how to do it. And today, and even 10 years ago, the internet was a place where you could go to get a lot of information, but today it's basically anything you want to learn how to do. You can find a video on YouTube, you can find a tutorial, you can take a class, you can go to a website, or you can get a book, you can, subscribe to a magazine, online or off. Basically any skill that you're lacking, that you need that skill in order to get where you want to be. Learn it. See if it's something that you can do. For example, I have a good one. I've always been a creative person, and I've always been what I consider to be very artistic. But I also always felt like I was not very good at drawing, especially people, but just drawing in general. That was not my strong forte. And then it just so happened that this summer I took a class. It involved a lot of drawing, step-by-step tutorials on drawing faces, drawing different, face on, side, profile, the proportions of the body, etc. Now, I've done this in the past. In fact, I was a minor in two-dimensional art in college, so we did figure drawing, but I never felt confident. And it's because I lack the skill to sit down, to create a shape, to make the proportions correct, and then to put a face together, or to do the correct proportions for an animal. And that was a big deal, because if you're an artist and you can't draw, you feel like you're at a disadvantage. So drawing was my example, but there's many others. If you feel like you don't know how to create a website, there's free websites, and all you do is drag and drop. So don't let it be a barrier to where you want to go. Don't let it hold you back by making you think that you have to say, well, I would go for it, but I can't because I don't have this skill. You can get the skill, and a lot of times you can get the skill for free. So if money is an issue, go online, see who's out there offering free information on what skill you need, and go for it. Number 5, and the last 5 things, is mindset. I've struggled with this one for basically my whole life, and it's a little different from the negative voice, because the mindset is the constant telling of myself that you got this, you can do this, there is nothing in your way except you. Stop, trying to blame other people for where you're at. Stop trying to say, well, I can't ever do that because I live here, or I have this going on in my life, or, whatever that is. When you can change your mindset to be like, okay, right now, things are stressful, I have a job, that, I have a family, all of that stuff, yes, is going on, but I can take this step today to help me get there in a year or 2 years or however long it's going to take. If you start to use the mindset of, this is where I'm at now, but this isn't always where I'm going to be at, I can move on from here, then, basically a million possibilities can open up. So that was my 5 Things Friday. 5 things that I wish I had known 10 years ago, and I hope that they help you if you're a creative person, or even if you're just a person who feels like you're in a situation right now that you wish you could move on from so that you could start going toward the life that you want. Those are the things that I wish I had known, and I hope they help you. Thanks, and if you like this video, go ahead and click below and give me some love. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and do that. If you want to share it on your Facebook, Instagram, any other place on social media, feel free to do that, and I'll see you next time.